you, dialogue. Thank you, Mohit. I think I was thinking of opening a functioning office in Dubai. I think I'll stick to India only. Yeah. Yeah. I am Tony Joseph, founder, principal of the firm Stapati. Yeah, I am from a small state from India which Mohit forgot to show, or maybe it was in the rest of his presentation. I didn't see that. I saw most of the states in India, but he missed out my state. Okay, we'll see it now. Huh? Okay? I am not boring. I will show you a video. So the firm is Stapati, and I don't know how many of you know Kozhikode. Our firm started in Kozhikode about 35 years back. It's in the southern part of India in a state called Kerala. The theme we were given today is rethinking architecture. When we first looked at it, we were a little confused. Not because we disagree with it, because for us, there has been no major shift in the way we think about architecture from the day we started to today. At Stapati, rethinking architecture has never been a moment. It has always been a process. No dynamic shifts, no stylistic turns. George, you explain that.
What has remained constant for us for the past 35 years is the way we approach a project. We begin by understanding the client, or sometimes the community, and then we anchor ourselves firmly into the context, which is non-negotiable. And finally, we rely deeply on collaboration. It's just not people, it's with materials, it's with craft, technology, and the process. Well, tools have evolved, materials have evolved, AI has entered the conversation, but our fundamentals remains the same. What you're going to see is how this way of thinking plays out across very different scales of work.
Many technology companies like to say that started in a garage. At Stapati, we like to say we started by designing one. This was a small garage converted into an art and craft shop named OHA. It set the tone for how we work, making the most of what already exists and letting constraints shape design. 35 years later, we work across a wide range of projects, both in India and internationally. From the design of a 7.5 million square foot World Trade Center in Kozhikode to residential projects such as Montana Willamens, a mountainside housing development where the terrain itself becomes the primary driver of the design. The Malabar headquarters is a project where the client and the context very clearly drove the design. At first, what you see is an image with the landscape hiding the building. Energy conservation, climate response, and efficiency were not add-ons, but fundamental to the way the building was conceived. The internal courtyard became the heart of the project, bringing in light, air, and constant connection to nature. Seen from above, the building reads as part of the landscape itself, rather than an object placed in it. The Thai headquarters is a much smaller corporate office on a very limited site. Here, constraint becomes a key driver of the design. Instead of separating inside and outside, we choose to borrow space from the landscape, allowing the building to feel larger than it actually is. Maintaining a strong connection between people, workspace, and environment was central to the project. This is not about rethinking architecture for today, but about continuing the way we have always thought, adapting it carefully to present day realities without forgetting where we came from. There is one area of our work where context and end users are absolutely central. That is resort architecture. One of our earliest projects, done over 28 years back in this space, was Kumrakam Lake Resort. And interestingly, the way we approach the project is not very different from how we approach resort projects today. The tools have changed, technology has evolved, but thinking has not. Landscape, climate, materiality, and cultural context continue to guide architecture. Even in our most recent projects, such as the Hilton in Hyderabad or the Vantara in Jamnagar, what you see is not a break from the past, but a continuation of the same thinking, carefully adapted to present-day realities, without losing sight of where it began. We work across many scales. Even today, residential projects remain an important part of our practice. In many ways, this is where we stay most closely connected to the act of designing. Residentials are deeply personal, the relationships are different, the conversations are more intimate. They allow us to work closely with people to understand how they live and how architecture can quietly support that. This is also where we continue to experiment with materials, with form, with light, and with the way spaces are experienced. Over the years, materials have evolved and construction methods have changed. But this is an area where, very consciously, there has been no rethinking. Only a continuation of the way we have always designed. Between the residential projects, there is one moment where many of our ideas came together in their purest form. I was invited as an artist at the Cochin Muziris Binale and asked to design a temporary pavilion. This became an opportunity to bring together how we think, almost in an ideal sense. From the beginning, the intent was clear: use recyclable, reusable materials as much as possible and leave nothing behind. The gallery seating, which also became part of the structure, was made using Arakanut wood fabricated with the help of temporary gallery makers who could later dismantle and reuse them. Inside, we used old saris repurposed for ceiling, lighting, and spatial softness. The roofing was done using used advertising hoarding flex sheets. The walls were made from debris found on the site mixed with mud and cement. For us, scale has never mattered. From a 300 square foot houseboat, redesigned without losing its traditional character, where we simplified, cleaned, and made it more minimal. To furniture, where detail became the architecture. Here, nothing is decorative, every element has a purpose. A simple wooden peg tightens the entire piece together. It holds structure, it allows flexibility, it respects material, and it makes the whole stronger. In many ways, this spec represents how we work. Projects of different scales, different contexts, different people, different collaborations, but held together by the same fundamentals. Not rethinking architecture, but continuing to think carefully, consistently, and responsibly. Thank you.